Just saying before starting that there is a lot of information on the website. We also have a YouTube channel where you can find some videos. And so you have a different ways of getting ideas about the daily life in the school. And the idea of this meeting is mostly to get to know you and to answer the general questions you may have about the school. Should you have specific questions regarding your family situation or your child's situation or children, there will be a second meeting, individual meetings with the head of the schools, either with Marine or with Sarah, and you will be able to ask all specific questions. So please save your specific questions for the individual meetings, but feel free to ask questions about the general life of the school and philosophy and etc. So as you see, one quotation we really like from John Dewey, which I think is not a real one, it's an apocryphal quotation. It's education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. And that's really meaningful to us, whether Dewey really said it or not, because your children will spend hours in the school, and we really want them to feel that they're not doing this because they have to wait for many years before they really start living, or because they're living outside school doing other activities. It's really part of life. And the nicest feedback we had from older children a few years ago was at the end of an event in an evening, I told them, well, it's time to go home. And they said, no, this is home. So that's what they said about school. So that's what we really try to do for the children and for the staff. So maybe you can start with the next slide, Marlene. So the school is still very young. We opened in 2017. It was a dream that came true. And in the beginning, we really didn't expect to grow that fast. We were planning to go up to the end of middle school, that's grade 9 in the French system. But the school grew, and some families said it would be nice to have the whole syllabus up to grade 12 or up to the baccalaureate. And so that's how it all happened. And it's also partly what explains why we have students from grade 1 to 8 in one building in the 11th arrondissement in Paris, and the older students are in a different building in Montreuil. We grew at the same time as the children, actually. So the biggest news for last year was that we moved to the new building in Montreuil with the older students, and that thanks to Sarah, who did a tremendous work with the team, we got accredited, for the IB. So we're now able to present students and to offer this syllabus. Sarah will tell you more about it later. And the idea is to go on like that from grade 1 to 12 with your students and with your children. Next slide. So don't hesitate, Marlene, Marine, and Sarah, to complete if I forget things. So the two sites are one in the 11th arrondissement, and that's from grade 1 to 8. And for the first for the first 6 years, we have 3 classes with double levels. You'll see that in a minute. And you can see a few pictures of the school. It gives you an idea of how it looks. And from the grade 9 onwards, they're coming to Montreuil. It's on the same metro line. It's line 9. It's quite easy to reach the school. So this is from the other building. So we can maybe, the team is very small here, but you can also see it online on the website. And it's team. We have teachers for all fields, and we have specific teachers for sport, for music and art. Some of them teaching all the children from grade 1 to 12, which is really nice because they see the kids grow. And I think if you want to see them in a bigger picture, you'd better go on the website. Just a few elements. What is a lab school? It's not a school where you put electrodes on the children's head. It's really a school first and foremost where the pedagogy that's being implemented is already inspired by research. I don't say evidence-based because we're not just thinking that everything can be solved by science, but every day we are wondering how we can teach better. And there are a few big lines that are really shown by research already. And for instance, the idea that if children are feeling well, if they feel confident, if they trust their teachers, if they dare to learn from mistakes, they will learn better. So this focus on well-being and social and emotional skills is really one pillar of our approach. The school happens to be bilingual, and there are various ways of having bilingual schools. You could have a school with one teacher speaking French one day and a teacher speaking English the next day, or half a day, morning and afternoon. What we do is what research shows to be the most efficient way is to have reciprocal immersion, which means that especially up to levels from first to sixth grade, we have two teachers in the same classroom, one French speaking, one English speaking. And so children hear both languages during the whole day. Of course, we're following, well, maybe not, of course, for people who are not from the French system, but we're following the French common core of knowledge, skill, and culture, because the idea is also to be able to share what we're doing with other teachers, and that's mostly my role as a researcher, to share with other schools and to help other teachers who are willing to change their posture, change their approach. And so by following this syllabus, it makes it easier to share these practices. And the two other elements, co-teaching, is also that among the skills that we're fostering, collaboration is one of them. And if you only have one teacher teaching alone in the classroom all the time, for the children, they don't have a model for that. So the idea of co-teaching is also that students see grown-up collaborating and interacting with each other. And there's a kind of modeling process, which is, I think, very interesting. And what we mean by pedagogical hybridization or hybridization, I don't know how to say that, is that we don't follow one specific pedagogy. We're not a Montessori school. We're not a Freinet school, like Célestin Freinet. We're not a John Dewey school only, but we're trying to take the best of each approach. And these approaches are quite old. They're, for some of them, over a century old. So we're also trying to implement what the latest research findings. Maybe I can let Marine or Sarah go on with the frequently asked question, or do you want me to go on?
Sorry, I went too quickly from the presentation to the question.
If nobody's speaking, I can go on. So lunchtime, it depends on which part of the school you are, but for one common feature is that we don't have a canteen, so we don't provide lunch, but children come with their own lunchbox. And the idea behind that is that we're also trying to be as responsible, ecologically responsible as we can, and we can. And if children eat at the canteen, we know that there are a lot of leftovers. Sometimes they don't like the food, so it's better if they bring their own lunch. In the elementary school, there is an agreement that is organized by parents with a place nearby that can deliver lunch, but it's not something that we take care of. It's really to be seen with the parents. Homework differs from elementary to middle school and high school, so maybe each head of school will tell you a bit more later. And about the number of students, we have about 12 to 15 students per level, which means, and double levels for grade 1 and 2 are together, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And for grades 7, 8, 9, 10, and in 11, 12, they are not in double level, so they are mostly about 15 students with a teacher. First levels until grade 6, they will always have 2 teachers for about 28 to 30 students, so one for 15 students maximum. Schedules can vary. I think we have a few of them online, so you'll see them in a second. Regarding the after-school activities and daycare, it's mostly for elementary school, and I think probably Marine will tell you a few words later about that. These are activities, workshops that your students can attend, or there is also daycare for children who don't want to do any specific activity. And we're going to give you also the timeline for registration. I hope I didn't forget anything important.
Okay, some details of the primary school.
And it seems most people feel okay with both languages, so feel free to speak French if you prefer.
Merci Pascal. Vous allez expérimenter ce que...
I even see that somebody asked to speak French. Sorry, I hadn't seen that.
C'est parfait, vous allez expérimenter ce qu'expérimentent les élèves qui sont dans notre école toute la journée. C'est vraiment ce bilinguisme-là permanent, cette immersion, avec parfois des phénomènes évidemment de traduction, de répétition, mais pas systématiquement. Plus les élèves grandissent et plus ils sont familiers de ce bain des 2 langues, et moins on a une approche de traduction systématique. Donc voilà, vous expérimentez un petit peu ça ce soir. Donc Pascal a déjà dit énormément de choses. Voilà, donc 3 classes en double niveau pour l'élémentaire. Un élément peut-être surprenant pour vous, en tout cas pour les familles françaises parmi vous, c'est ce double niveau CM2 6e. Et il se trouve que dans le ministère de l'Éducation nationale a voulu que le cycle 3 s'étende du CM1 à la 6e. Donc, c'est un choix de la Lab School de permettre aux élèves de vivre la fin du cycle 3 avec leurs camarades de CM2, et donc de déplacer un petit peu la transition qui est parfois un petit peu brutale en 6e au collège, de déplacer cette transition chez nous à la Lab School à la 5e. Donc, ils peuvent vraiment terminer d'acquérir les compétences de ce cycle en 6e. Donc, des effectifs réduits. Là aussi, c'était dit tout à l'heure, une quinzaine d'élèves par niveau maximum. Un co-enseignement donc permanent tout au long de la journée avec un ou une professeure anglophone et un ou une professeure des écoles diplômées francophones au sein de chaque classe. Et des professeurs dédiés. Nous avons beaucoup de chance à la Lab School. Il y a un professeur d'EPS dès le CP et jusqu'au plus grand. Une professeure de musique également, qui est musicienne elle-même. Une professeure d'art plastique, plasticienne aussi. Et puis, une professeure de sciences, puisqu'on accorde beaucoup d'importance aux sciences à la Lab School. Et donc, à partir du CM1, les élèves sont initiés au questionnement scientifique. La semaine est organisée là aussi de manière un peu particulière, puisqu'il y a 3 journées pleines, lundi, mardi et jeudi, de 8h30 à 16h30 environ, avec quelques ajustements. On a décidé de mettre en place une arrivée et une sortie échelonnée qui permet de à la fois fluidifier l'arrivée et la sortie, et voilà, de permettre aux élèves d'arriver aussi dans un certain calme, une certaine tranquillité. Il y a donc 2 demi-journées, le mercredi matin et le vendredi matin. Donc c'est un peu notre spécificité. La recherche montre que les élèves sont plus ouverts aux apprentissages le matin. En tout cas, ils sont plus disponibles pour certains types d'apprentissage le matin. Donc, c'était vraiment une volonté de l'école. Et donc, la pause méridienne, c'est évoqué tout à l'heure, qui dure 2 heures, puisque la première partie a lieu, donc le déjeuner dans les classes, et qu'ensuite, les classes se rendent dans différents parcs. Nous avons la chance, grâce à notre localisation, d'avoir de nombreux parcs et squares autour de l'école. Donc, on se rend dans les parcs et squares la deuxième partie du déjeuner. Alors, quelques exemples d'emploi du temps, simplement pour que voilà, vous puissiez un petit peu mieux visualiser ce principe aussi de co-enseignement, qui fait que, comme vous allez le voir, les enfants sont souvent le matin notamment en deux groupes. Alors, soit en groupe de niveau au sens de d'âge. Là, vous voyez par exemple les CP qui ont lecture le lundi matin pendant que les CE1 ont anglais. Voilà, ça permet de travailler avec des plus petits groupes, donc entre 12 et 15 élèves, et donc d'avoir une plus grande attention à chacun au sein de la classe. Et donc, comme vous le voyez, on dédie plutôt les matinées à ce qu'on appelle les apprentissages fondamentaux. Voilà. Et l'après-midi, plutôt aux autres apprentissages. Là, vous voyez sur l'emploi du temps des CE2, CM1, l'après-midi, on va avoir donc l'art, la géographie, l'histoire, les sciences. Voilà. Et l'emploi du temps peut être aussi des CM2, 6e. Voilà un troisième type d'emploi du temps. Sur lequel vous pouvez voir qu'il y a une petite spécificité pour les sixièmes qui, dans leur transition justement vers la cinquième, ont eux cours de sciences le vendredi après-midi. Et un élément que vous avez peut-être eu le temps d'apercevoir qui est présent sur les trois emplois du temps, qui est extrêmement important dans la pédagogie de la Lab School, c'est le conseil d'élèves. Il y a dès le CP, chez les plus petits déjà, un conseil d'élèves qui est organisé toutes les semaines. Et ce conseil d'élèves, ils vont le vivre depuis le CP jusqu'à la fin de leur scolarité à la Lab School. C'est vraiment un espace d'initiation à ce qu'est être un citoyen, à ce que peut être devenir responsable, discuter ensemble, apporter des propositions, chercher des solutions. Voilà, c'est un vrai espace d'apprentissage des compétences psychosociales. Et enfin, la garderie et les activités périscolaires. Donc, il y a une proposition de garderie à la fin des journées pleines, de 16h30 à 18h. Et puis, sur le temps du déjeuner, pour les demi-journées, le mercredi et le vendredi midi. Et il peut y avoir aussi des activités périscolaires. Vous les retrouvez en intégralité sur notre site internet. Elles peuvent varier aussi d'une année à l'autre. Vous avez quelques exemples ici, art plastique, théâtre, coding, hip-hop, Lego, écriture créative. Voilà les propositions qui ont lieu actuellement. Et si vous avez envie, et j'espère que vous aurez envie, suite à cette réunion, de venir découvrir les locaux de la Lab School, venir nous rencontrer, échanger avec nous, il y aura des portes ouvertes. Alors pour l'élémentaire, le samedi 7 décembre, vous pouvez bien sûr retrouver ces dates sur notre site internet. Et vous aurez aussi un peu plus proche de nous, le 23 novembre, les portes ouvertes du lycée. Et puis il y aura une deuxième réunion d'information, mais je pense que ça vous concerne moins. Cette réunion aura lieu à nouveau le 5 décembre. Mais si vous êtes là ce soir, a priori, vous n'avez pas besoin de revenir le 5
Et
décembre.
n'hésitez pas à communiquer à des parents qui auraient manqué la réunion. Ils ont une deuxième chance le jeudi 5 décembre. Merci Marine. On va passer, Sarah, tu vas présenter, tu reprends la main, j'arrête mon partage. On t'entend pas.
Oui, ça devrait être le cas. Très bien. So I'm going to be talking about the secondary school, so starting from 5e or 7th grade to all the way up to the 12th grade or terminal, where we do the IB diploma. The slides are in French, so I believe it would be best if I keep speaking in English. Hopefully that will allow everyone to get the information. So hopefully I won't just repeat what my colleagues have said, just so you can have a good idea of what is the timeline if someone is staying at the lab school from grade 1 to grade 12, which we're hoping all of our students do. The students in CPCE1, so they do up to 6e, as Marine has explained, the co-teaching in the Paris building. And starting from 5e, they enter the secondary school, which is what I'm going to talk about. The 5e, 4e are also in Paris. And there they start having teacher per subject. For example, all the cinquième have together mathematics, and they have one teacher, one mathematics teacher, and all the quatrième have mathematics at the level. For example, for English, they have the English with a mixed group of cinquième, quatrième. So it depends a little bit of the subject, but they have one teacher per groups of 15 students maximum. Then in the troisième seconde, we go to Montreuil, to our new building, as Pascal mentioned at the beginning of the meeting. And here we continue to teach by subject, and our troisième students prepare for the Diplôme National du Brevet. In première and terminale, what we offer at the lab school, and as Pascal shared as well, we are very proud to be able to offer this. We obtained our accreditation last spring, and so we offer the diploma of the IB diploma. So it's not le BI français, it's really the diploma from the International Baccalaureate Diploma from the International Baccalaureate Organization. And at the end of the 12th grade class, the students get this diploma that they prepare in a 2-year journey. To really clarify, as Pascal said, from CP to seconde, students are following the curriculum of the Éducation nationale, and with advanced English in addition. And in première and terminale, they do follow the International Baccalaureate curriculum. So hopefully that makes a little bit that whole journey clear for the lab school. Pascal already mentioned that, and it's really, you can find it on the website. However, just to make sure, the collège, because collège in French, as Marine mentioned, can start from sixième and can end in troisième, but the collège building for us is in Paris with the primary students, so for the cinquième, quatrième, and starting from the troisième, we are very proud that we have opened our new wonderful learning space in Montreuil on the subway Croix de Chavaux, so that's for the troisième, seconde, première, and terminale students. I do not have the fancy schedules that Marine has showed you. However, to gain a general idea of a day for a student in cinquième, quatrième, troisième, or seconde, students have classes from Monday to Friday. They start at 9. This is also a choice that was made by the school based on our research and students' chronobiology. They start at 9. And they have their lunch break from 1:10 to 2:30. There can be some modifications depending of the class, but that's the general schedule. And they finish at 4:25 in the afternoon. They do not have class. Oh wow, there's a Wednesday that is missing there. Oh no, that's exactly what I meant. Sorry, there is no Wednesday afternoon classes at the lab school. They do have classes on the Friday afternoon, and hopefully, as Marine said, they have learned to transition towards that by having the science classes in sixième. For the IB students, it really depends based on the classes that they've chosen, but the earliest they can have classes is at 8:45, and the latest exceptionally can be 5:45, but mainly it is 5 in the evening, and they can have holes in their schedule. Up. The subjects that are being taught, well, as I said, and I will talk about the IB in a few minutes, but from cinquième to seconde, we follow the curriculum of the Éducation nationale. So they have those regular courses, and they also have the student council that is very important at the lab school. Sometimes parents ask, and so I'm anticipating the frequently asked questions, but sometimes parents ask, oh, can students participate in student council? Because at some schools, they are elected to be part of it. At lab school, every student participates in the weekly student council where students can discuss problems, make proposals for the schools, and talk about what is working well. The classes are, as it was mentioned, given in French or in English, and there is a translation of the keywords that is provided. They have advanced English lessons, though, and they are differentiated. For example, in the middle school, so in 5e, 4e, it will depend. They will have different level of readings depending of their level, and at the high school level, they will pick a course, either advanced literature or language acquisition, depending of their level. At the lab school, we do not give grades, and that's something that is very important about our philosophy. And parents are usually very good with this for primary school, but they are sometimes surprised that we do that as well at the high school level, at the college level, when we're preparing the student for the brevet, when we're preparing the students. And so the research shows us that what is very important is evaluating students very regularly, what we do. However, students do not get scored. They do not get numbers on their evaluation, but they do get evaluation at the lab school to prepare them. We focus on feedback that we give to the students, and obviously no ranking is being done as it is very negative for the students' development. This is working so far, and sharing that so far we are having 100%. We've had 3 classes of students that have taken the brevet, and we having not only 100% of success, but 100% of mention, of students scoring very highly at the brevet level. And with students, for some of them, they had arrived in France not so long ago, and French was not their mother tongue, and some students also that had special learning needs that were very successful in the brevet. We have this year our first cohort of IB student that is starting, so in première. And they have very high university ambitions, so we can have high standards without scores. And the students who were not planning on staying into the IB were able to integrate good high schools as well. So we do have ways to support students transitioning towards other schools, even without having scores, tests, and test results with grades and such. Okay, let's now talk about the IB the last 2 years. That was a question in an information session from our parents, so I'm going to answer it right away. We do not have the French baccalaureate, donc le diplôme du baccalauréat français, when students get into our 11th grade. Quand nos élèves vont en première et terminale, it is that they are taking the IB diploma. There is not an option to take the French diploma at our school. So what is the IB diploma, and how does it look like at the IB, at the lab school Paris? So the IB diploma is a diploma where students can obtain a bilingual diploma. So they will take their classes in English, but they can decide to present the exam in French or in English. And we have options to do advanced literature in both French and English. So we're really trying to build on that bilingualism up to grade 12. The IB is also a program where students can choose their subject. I will talk about that in just a second. The IB is recognized internationally, but is now recognized in France as well. I do sessions also where I talk about the use of Parcoursup. So if you are here interested about following and going into the IB diploma, but your student is not sure that they want to go internationally, it is definitely possible to do the IB diploma and to stay in France. This is something that I think I share all the time, but to me, this is the most important point about the IB, and this is also one of the reasons why the school has chosen it. when I was teaching the IB in the US a few years ago, I had a parent coming and telling me something that I found one of the most powerful sentences in my teaching career so far is, thank you so much for providing a safe environment for my students to be challenged and sometimes fail, but find solutions and for this environment to be nurturing and allowing them to learn how to fail, but then stand back up. The IB is challenging and is asking the students to balance their active life, their studies, their creativity, writing long essays, but they're doing that when they're still in a safe environment and not somewhere else at university where much more challenges are facing them. And also, the IB is really good at allowing different accommodation for students. For example, they will print in different characters, in different sizes. So we have those possibilities within the IB that are not possible with all the diplomas. So those are some of the reasons of why the lab school chose the IB and are telling you a little bit about it. Now, in practice, what does it look like for the students? Well, they choose six subjects, and I will talk about those 6 subjects in a second. They have theory of knowledge classes. They have to write a 4,000-word essay during the 2 years. That is a little bit like un mémoire universitaire, but obviously brought to the high school level on a subject of their choice. And this is very important for university applications. They have to participate in creativity, activity, and service. And I was telling you that they have to learn to manage and to balance their life. And this is very important because if they don't learn in high school, where they start to have lots of homework and to have to study, how to fit in exercising, how to fit in community service, how to be part of creative project, then we all know as adults that it's very, very difficult to do that when we have a job and we have a family. And so we're teaching them to learn how to balance their life at an early age. And I believe that is very important. And they have a very individualized schedule. We joke with the student that not 2 of our 9 current IB students for the first year have the same schedule. It really depends of the subject they choose. Some of them are really happy to have lots of holes in the day because they can do their homework during the day. Some of them are really happy to have all their classes in the morning, so then they can go home early. It really depends on the student and on the subject. So very quickly, all of that, once again, you can find it on our website. And if you're interested in the IB and have those individual meetings after pre-registration, we look at those subjects closely together and we make the choices of subjects. But they have to choose 6 subjects in those groups. The group 1 is language and literature, where they have to choose either French literature, language, or English language and literature. They have a language acquisition where they can do French as an acquisition level, English or Spanish, or if they are completely bilingual, do both French and English at a literature level. And that really goes hand in hand with the bilingualism that is done at the lab school. They have individual and society. As Pascal mentioned at the very beginning, she is the psychology teacher. So our individual and society subject is psychology. But because we wanted to add more option for the students, we also have a partnership with an online system that is called Pamoja to be able to offer business management, economy, philosophy, or digital society. In the group 4 sciences, we have biology and physics. And we also have currently an option of computer science that is taught in a hybrid situation that is only for students who have really strong prior knowledge of computer science. You can imagine that a student who chooses physics, they've been doing physics since primary school because they've been doing science from a very young age. So the students that choose computer science as their science need to have a very solid background in computer science. The group 5 mathematics, well, it is mathematics, and we have chosen analysis and approaches. And the group 6 are the arts, and the art that we're offering in the IB is music. or the student can choose any other subject from the different groups. Let's say that a student has a more scientific profile and wants to go to engineering and computer science, and they would like to take physics and computer science. That is a possibility. Once again, if this concerns you, we will talk about those in much more detail. I'm very aware that I'm going fast on those. They also have to choose an SL or HL subjects very quickly. If they choose a class at a standard level, so SL, they have 3 hours. If they choose a class at a higher level, they have 4.5 hours per week. They choose 3 to 4 subjects at the higher level. And what is higher level? Well, it's just more programs in more depth. The exams are a bit longer with more tasks. For example, in English, if they take higher level English language and literature, they will write an extra essay. And those subjects and the choice of those subjects is very important because it's determining university possibility and choices. So, okay, that is maybe super stressful now. How do I pick my subjects? How do we choose the ASL, HL? And I'm talking a lot about universities. Well, we do have processes to support families and students with that. Starting from troisième, we have at the second semester of troisième a meeting about orientation to be able to talk about the right path for the students. We have then one meeting per semester in 10th grade. And at the end of 10th grade, we choose those IB subjects for the students who stay in the IB. And then in the IB, the students have a personalized follow-up that is done by a professional that has been doing IB counseling for IB students for the last 15 years. So who knows the subjects quite well. Obviously, if you have questions before, we are also available before the troisième class, before the 9th grade, to meet and discuss orientation. Okay, promise, I'm done. Yes, thank you for listening. I haven't done the frequently asked questions because I think it depends a little bit, and we can maybe start with all the general questions if you would like.
If it's easier, c'est plus facile, vous pouvez aussi marquer les questions dans le chat. So you can also write questions in the chat. So I see there's a... Yeah, thank you for this question. Maybe I'll answer in French because it's easier for me. Donc, moi, je suis enfant d'enseignant du public et lorsque j'ai voulu créer la Lab School, au départ, j'ai voulu la créer dans l'éducation nationale parce que la mixité sociale était vraiment un facteur important pour moi. Et donc, la manière dont on a pu quand même ouvrir l'école n'est pas une école avec des tarifs qui sont les mêmes pour tout le monde. On a des tarifs dégressifs en fonction des revenus familiaux. Je n'ai pas en tête exactement les différentes tranches, mais ce qui nous semble très important, c'est que les tranches tarifaires ne sont pas attribuées uniquement sur la question des revenus, mais aussi pour les tranches les plus basses sur vraiment la profession des parents, la mixité sociale. Et donc pour les tranches les plus basses, on n'a que 2 ou 3 élèves par tranche parce que il faut qu'on puisse quand même payer et notre loyer et les enseignants. On a des charges qui sont extrêmement lourdes. Je rappelle qu'on n'a aucune subvention de l'État pour cette école. Et donc, je ne sais pas comment on pourrait chiffrer la mixité sociale, mais ce qui est très important, c'est qu'on cultive aussi la diversité culturelle. On a des enfants qui arrivent de différents pays. Je ne sais pas combien on a de nationalités. Je ne sais pas si Sarah et Marine, vous avez ça en tête à peu près. Il faudrait peut-être qu'on le calcule. Et on a aussi des enfants avec des besoins éducatifs spécifiques et tout ça fait l'objet aussi d'un accompagnement spécifique des familles et c'est des choses qu'on discute avant l'entrée à l'école. Je ne sais pas si Marlène, tu veux ajouter quelque chose sur l'inclusion.
On avait fait un calcul il y a quelques années et on a un taux d'élèves qui bénéficient donc de ce qu'on appelle une bourse, c'est-à-dire qui ne payent pas le tarif complet, qui est de l'ordre de 80%. Et ensuite, effectivement, la mixité sociale, c'est vraiment une question de mixité d'origine et de profession des parents, qui est voilà, probablement beaucoup plus diverse que dans beaucoup d'écoles comme nous, qui sont qui sommes des écoles privées hors contrat. Et peut-être Sarah, tu voulais dire en termes de langue, on avait fait un conseil avec les élèves au lycée l'année dernière et je sais plus, ils étaient une vingtaine.
On avait à l'ouverture du lycée, donc on avait uniquement 2 classes ouvertes, donc des petits effectifs, et on avait plus de 20 langues représentées par nos élèves. Voilà. Donc ça, c'est plus mixité culturelle.
Donc voilà, donc mixité sociale, mixité culturelle, mixité des profils des élèves en termes de capacité cognitive, à l'image peut-être d'une mini-société.
Merci à vous. Nous avons une question. So thank you as well. How many students are there in troisième and seconde? So at the moment, so our maximum capacity is 15 students per class. At the moment, we have about 10 students in troisième, 10 students in seconde, and 9 students in the first IB diploma cohort, as we have opened the building, as Pascal said, last school year, but we are planning for next school year to have our full to be at full capacity. The next question is, how do you support students that are not native French or English speakers, in concrete terms, with lower intermediate French and English level? Thank you. I would assume that the question is maybe more about high school, because you did ask about troisième and seconde, because the answer will vary depending of the year of arrival. I will let you, Marine, maybe talk about that for the primary. But obviously, a student in CP that is arriving that is not fully bilingual is not the same thing as if they are arriving in troisième or seconde. We do ask families to work with the students, for all students to have a passive understanding of both languages when they arrive at the lab school. That is very important, because guidelines are going to be given I won't be able to say that word. I apologize, it's late. Interchangeably, okay, in both languages. Thank you. And so it is important that the students can have that passive understanding. I also talk about the importance into the social emotional development, which is very important at the lab school, because when you hear our students talking to each other, they really switch very easily between French and English. And so it can be very difficult if there are conversations that are going on and students have absolutely no idea what's happening. Now, when a student can understand well a language and then respond in the other language, the social interaction work well, and the classroom interaction work quite well. For English at the high school, so in troisième seconde, we have 2 levels of English. So we have a language acquisition class and an advanced English class. So students will be separated during the English class. For the French class, the teacher is working very hard to do differentiation with students who do not have yet the French level. However, this is really something that we ask for families, is that the students do build that level when they come to the lab school, because classes are going to be conducted. The math class can be conducted in both French or English, or both. And our teachers are all able to support students in both languages. I wanted to also say that for the IB now, and so that's why starting from seconde, when we have students that are planning to do the IB diploma and they're arriving with a low level of French, we can make exceptions, because the IB is done completely in English. And obviously we have the French class that is done in French. However, students will be able to follow all the classes in French. So at that IB level, having a lower level of French would be fine as long as the student can take one of our language of acquisition.
Maybe I can also add something, that the idea, as Pascal presented before, of being a bilingual school, means that all families are really involved into the bilingualism and wish to share both cultures and maybe even more than two cultures for French-speaking people and English-speaking people. So it's not the idea of just having the children go to school to get the other language, but really to feel that you wish that it's the project of the whole family. And yes, so it means that if the level is not quite high enough to join the school, especially when we are thinking about joining the school in 2025, there's still lots of time to improve, to practice, and to take private lessons also, which can be asked when arriving at the school, because the idea is really to be fluent in both languages and to feel that it's a family project to speak both languages also at home, even if you're not perfectly fluent as in French or in English. But you can't expect a child coming at the lab school or an adolescent coming at the lab school only to speak their native language, so no French or English.
But by fluent doesn't mean fluent. You can hear how we speak, and that's more than enough.
Okay, saying that just after I talked.
Ouais, je voudrais peut-être rajouter, parce que je vois des parents qui nous ont contactés à ce sujet. L'enjeu pour les enfants un peu plus jeunes, justement de l'état d'esprit avec lequel vous voulez rejoindre la Lab School Paris, et peut-être de l'envie aussi qu'a l'enfant, qu'a l'élève de vivre cet apprentissage-là et d'évoluer dans cet environnement-là. C'est vraiment très, très important, parce qu'on voit différents parcours d'élèves et différentes rapidités, entre guillemets, d'apprentissage et d'évolution en fonction du désir qu'a l'élève de vraiment apprendre une nouvelle langue, et donc d'avoir une posture très, très proactive dans cet apprentissage. On a vraiment des cas très, très différents d'enfants qui sont arrivés avec si on veut dire, des niveaux assez équivalents. Et puis en fait, on voit les courbes d'évolution d'apprentissage qui sont très différentes en fonction du niveau d'engagement de l'élève et de la famille.
Oui, merci beaucoup, Marine. Il y a une autre question qui serait peut-être plus pour toi. Is there an entrance test in grade 6? Ou pour Marlène et Pascal?
It's grade 8.
Grade
Oh, for
8.
grade 8, sorry. Well, then that's for me. Sorry. Sorry, I read grade 6. Well, sorry, I wanted to make you speak mine. There is no entrance test for any grade at lab school. We do ask for report cards from previous schools, and we accept report cards from different formats. So we look at report cards. For the IB diploma, we do ask for recommendation letters from the previous school. If the report cards is not allowing us to make a very clear choice, especially towards some specific subjects. For example, the mathematics can be challenging, and so sometimes we ask to obtain a recommendation letter from the mathematics teacher saying that the students will be able to take the IB level mathematics course, for example. But no, there's not an entrance test for grade 8.
Peut-être, je vais rebondir. Donc, tu parlais comme ça je parle, tu parlais des bulletins. Peut-être un petit pas vers le processus qui peut vous attendre si vous souhaitez nous rejoindre. On vous demandera effectivement dès les débuts du processus de déposer sur notre plateforme d'inscription notamment un bulletin. Ce qui est important pour nous, c'est vraiment qui a été travaillé en fait par l'élève enfin, l'année qui vient de s'écouler, voilà, où est-ce qu'il en est dans l'acquisition de ses compétences. Nous-mêmes ne donnons pas de notes, donc on ne s'attend pas nécessairement à avoir un bulletin avec des notes, hein, mais c'est vraiment pour justement pour apprendre un petit peu à connaître votre enfant, et c'est quelque chose qu'on demande avant l'entretien d'une trentaine de minutes qu'on a avec vous, parents, pour commencer un petit peu mieux à connaître justement votre enfant et puis à comprendre un petit peu mieux son profil et votre projet. Donc, c'est vraiment quelque chose qui est important pour nous. Voilà, si vous pouvez bien le déposer au moment du processus de préinscription, c'est un élément qui nous renseigne beaucoup.
Je vois une question donc sur l'école primaire. On suit le programme de l'école publique. Donc effectivement, on suit le programme de l'éducation nationale comme toutes les écoles en France. Alors après, on est tenu de suivre le programme en référence au socle commun. Donc ça veut dire qu'on peut avoir des adaptations annuelles. Ça veut dire que notamment l'approche spiralaire prescrite par les programmes et notamment maintenant avec des attendus année après année. Voilà, c'est pas forcément exactement la même chose puisque nous, on a notamment l'anglais qui a une part très importante et donc notamment apprendre à lire, écrire en anglais et apprendre la littérature anglaise au fil des années. Donc effectivement, il y a quelques petits ajustements, mais on est vraiment en référence au socle commun. Et donc, ça permet à nos élèves de rejoindre le système public ou privé sous contrat sans aucune difficulté. Il y a un examen d'entrée dans les classes à partir du collège, mais pas au niveau de l'école élémentaire. Et en fait, même si c'est des doubles niveaux, les enfants sont bien affectés à un niveau de classe, donc CP, enfin un niveau de classe correspondant exactement à ceux de l'éducation nationale. Donc, il n'y a aucun problème pour rejoindre la classe d'après. Les bulletins de fin d'année enfin, préparés par les enseignants indiquent bien un passage dans la classe supérieure qui permet tout à fait aux élèves de rejoindre la classe correspondant à leur niveau atteint au sein de l'éducation nationale s'ils le rejoignent le système.
Oui, ça, voilà, on a déjà des élèves qui, par exemple, effectivement, à la fin du CM2, sont partis, ont rejoint un collège public. C'est évidemment tout à fait possible. Alors, je me demande si effectivement votre question peut-être est axée sur peut-être ce double niveau CM2 6e. Effectivement, même si voilà, c'est une classe qui est vraiment à cheval entre l'élémentaire et le collège, mais les élèves de sixième n'en demeurent pas moins des élèves de sixième avec lesquels, voilà, encore une fois, le programme du cycle 3 est approfondi. Donc il y a pas de souci.
Et ils sont enregistrés en tant que tels auprès du rectorat.
Si je peux me permettre, j'ai une question.
Bien sûr.
Euh, j'ai des enfants qui sont en France, mais dans le système anglais, euh, qui me convient plus parce que c'est une école qui va en accéléré. Ça veut dire qu'elles sont à un niveau, mais ils vont plus vite que... Ils ont à peu près 1 an ou 2 ans d'avance, c'est leur système, mais ça ne correspond pas, moi, à mes enfants qui prennent leur temps. Du coup, s'il n'y a pas de test, c'est tant mieux parce que c'est le stress des notes. S'il n'y a pas de test et qu'en cours d'année, vous vous rendez compte que quand même le niveau est, par exemple, si elles sont en CP et finalement que le niveau est plus élevé, qu'est-ce qui peut se passer par rapport à ça?
Marine, si c'est l'exemple du CP qui est donné, mais de manière générale, si un enfant est en avance par rapport au programme et qui se sent plus à l'aise du niveau supérieur,
C'est ça.
c'est arrivé de manière pas très fréquente, mais ça peut tout à fait arriver que l'enfant rejoigne un autre groupe. Mais c'est l'équipe enseignante qui fait la
Mmh.
proposition parce qu'ils vraiment ils se rendent compte que l'enfant sera plus à l'aise avec les plus grands. Éventuellement, si ça se justifie avec un bilan qui peut être fait par un psychologue qui va appuyer la décision, c'est dans ce sens-là que ça passe. C'est pas les parents qui viennent demander un saut de classe. En tout cas, c'est jamais arrivé. Et je pense que c'est l'avis des enseignants qui est complètement déterminant par rapport à ça.
Après, on a
Je sais
aussi
pas
la
si c'est sur d'autres
possibilité,
questions.
on a aussi la possibilité pour certains élèves de suivre, justement parce que ce sont des classes de double niveau, voilà, d'éventuellement rejoindre un groupe notamment de langue avec des plus grands ou un groupe de mathématiques pour certains enfants. Donc, il y a quand même une modularité du fait d'avoir deux enseignantes par rapport à ça. Et ensuite, on voit en fin d'année ou en cours d'année, selon la situation, ce qui convient à l'enfant aussi en termes de ses relations sociales avec les autres, de ses capacités d'attention. Voilà, il y a tout un ensemble. Et puis, on pense quand même que le type de pédagogie qu'on propose permet aussi aux enfants de trouver de l'intérêt et d'approfondir, même quand ils sont avec leur groupe d'âge, puisque les activités proposées sont aussi évolutives, il y a la possibilité de les enrichir. Et par ailleurs, le fait d'étudier les deux langues en parallèle est quand même un plus global par rapport au programme de l'éducation nationale, puisque bah, voilà, dès le CP, les enfants travaillent, comme l'a dit Marine tout à l'heure, au quotidien dans les deux langues. Donc, en fait, on a quand même une possibilité d'approfondissement très, très importante et motivante dès le plus jeune âge.
Merci pour votre réponse.
Can see there's a question about one daughter in particular about the British curriculum and about the brevet. So I will try to give a more general answer. As I said in the beginning of the meeting, you will have specific individual meeting to discuss each situation separately. But this can be made a general question in a way, since there may be some other people who come from a different country. First of all, it's not compulsory to take the brevet, and so far it may change in the future, but so far it's not compulsory to have the brevet to be admitted in seconde, to go to the lycée. So if your daughter is in 8th grade now, it means that she would have to do the brevet next year. We have had students who came from Pakistan, for instance. They arrived in France, they didn't speak a single word of French almost, and they both succeeded getting the brevet. So I would say it's possible without difficulty, but with good work, of course, and the teacher support, because I know that they really got a lot of support. But so far it's not even compulsory, and we've had also I think a few students who arrived from different countries and who were not ready to present the brevet, and they didn't, and it didn't prevent them from joining the second level, so grade 10 in our school. Maybe Sarah, you want to add something?
No, thank you very much. It was very clear and very in line with what I would say. Yes. And as Marine was saying earlier, it really depends of the motivation of the students and the family. Obviously, taking a French exam in French is challenging, but it can be a really, really good challenge that stimulates the learning of the language, and that has been the case in the past at our school.
I'm sorry, ladies. My name is Karen, and I think I missed the beginning of this meeting because I have it as it's starting 3 minutes ago, but for some reason it's already been going on. So I was wondering, like, for my child who doesn't speak a word of French, and she's going into the 10th grade, which I believe is the second in Paris, like what the requirements would be?
I'll take I'll address the beginning. There will be another session on sorry, I don't have the date in mind, but Marine, you did present it. Yes.
5.
Oui, exactement. Le 5 décembre, on the 5th of December. So if you missed the beginning, I highly encourage you to join on the second meeting to get what you've missed. It is so we are right now in November. If a student had no French whatsoever and is wanting to join a lab school, what we really encourage is that the family and the students take it as the project of the family to learn French. If the students arrive at school with a passive level of understanding of French language and can socialize and can participate in class, listening to guidelines that are being given in French, even and respond in English at the second level, because the student is preparing for the IB level that will be given in English and it will be delivered in English. This is a possibility. And obviously, as Pascal said, then we have the 30 minutes meeting where we discuss definitely your particular situation, and look, because it really depends of the student's ability to learn the language. We've seen students being very successful at it, and we've also seen students not being quite successful. And we see that when there's not that motivation, it has impact on the social life, on the learning. So it's very important that it's a project that the child wants as well, especially at those older level, but even very young.
Thank you. So you're saying that there's an individual meeting. How do we set that up?
So maybe we want to go on the admission process and talk about that, because that would be applicable for everyone. So there is a pre-registration that takes place, and students. So this is all. Please do go on our website and find all of this. But there is a pre-registration process where we ask for documents to get to know your child, as Marine was saying. And then we invite the family for a 30 minutes meeting where we talk about the student situation individually. At the end of this 30 minutes meeting, if we do find that the situation can be a good fit in both directions, we invite the student for trial day, where the students gets to spend a day at the school, discover the school, and the teachers can meet the students. After this, decision from the pedagogical team is being given for admission, and obviously, depending if there is room in the class, and then the administrative process and financial process can start of the registration.
So I'm assuming the registration is online, or do we just email you an application?
The registration is online, and those information can be found on our website. There was a question after about there were some at the different levels where we can integrate the school. Maybe one of my colleagues can answer that, and I can find the link to the website.
Yeah, I already answered in French. And I'm sorry, Karen, if you just arrived, because the meeting started Paris time at 7 o'clock. So we've been online for an hour, but there has been a recording. So we would be able to send the recording to you, and you can catch up and hopefully you will get all the answers that you need.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought I was an early bird. I thought I came on early because I have it as 2 p.m. New York
We're
time.
about to close the meeting.
Oh, are you guys 5 hours ahead of New York?
Well, no, just for the record, I'm also on East Coast, and I had it done at 2 o'clock as well. I just was I just checked the link early. Donc, c'est pas que vous.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. So we'll check and make sure it doesn't happen again. Very sorry about that.
Anyway, please, should I say that you can go and on our website, and Sarah is, I think, putting that on the discussion, because we really tried year after year to put as much information as needed to make very clear how to, everything about the pedagogy, the schedules, the teachers, with the presentation, the research also. Please feel free to read our articles, and also the registration process, which is, we hope to make it very clear, and also the question of the school fees and so on. I think we did a good job on that, putting all the information you need to have a good first idea, and even second or third idea about the school.
Et vous pouvez déjà noter la date en avant-première, la date du 16 décembre, du lundi 16 décembre, qui sera la date d'ouverture des inscriptions pour les nouvelles familles. On a un temps là d'ouverture pour les familles qui sont déjà dans l'école, et à partir du 16 décembre, vous pourrez commencer le processus si vous voulez nous rejoindre.
I had sort of a general question for y'all. I had noticed on your website that you have Paris You have lab school network. And I was just wondering, is there a network of lab schools? And if
Well,
so,
there is a world
are you connected
network.
with them? I'm just curious.
Yes, there's one association called the International Association of Lab Schools, and mostly it's lab schools from Northern America and Canada, but there are schools from all over the world, including Southeast Asia. And so we're part of this network, and we're regularly in touch with these schools, and it's gradually becoming more and more active. And there's a new network starting of European lab schools. We started with an Erasmus project from 2019 till 2022, and taking over, I now have twice a month, where different people from different lab schools are coming to present their project, their research project, and we're trying to make it really active and meaningful. And it really helps our teachers also to see and to know what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Et je vais prendre un tout petit peu la parole. Merci Marlène, je vois que tu as mis beaucoup de choses par écrit sur le rôle des parents. C'est vraiment très très important pour nous de travailler ensemble. Vraiment, la communauté éducative inclut évidemment les enseignants, les personnels support de l'école et les parents. Voilà, donc déjà pour nous, c'est un point très très important qu'on puisse travailler ensemble pour accompagner au mieux votre enfant et l'élève dans son parcours. Donc ça, c'est vraiment important pour nous. Ensuite, comme nous avons un statut associatif, voilà, les parents peuvent venir voilà, offrir des heures de leur temps à l'école, et ça peut prendre énormément de formes différentes. Je vous donne des exemples très variés. On a parfois des parents qui viennent pour nous parler de leur métier, ou qui viennent proposer un atelier en lien avec leur pratique. Voilà, on a un papa journaliste qui est venu l'année dernière, par exemple, sur l'initiation à la recherche d'informations. On a des parents qui sont venus initier les élèves à la couture. Voilà, il y a des propositions très diverses, et qu'on se réjouit aussi de construire avec vous. En fait, si vous avez envie de proposer des choses, on est ravis de construire ces propositions-là avec vous.
I don't know if Amy and Karen, do you both speak French as well? Do you understand French? Because we asked in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, I speak French. I mean, I'm not a native. C'est pas ma langue maternelle, mais j'ai appris le français avant.
Perfect. Thank you.
Is that exclusionary because the parents don't speak a word?
No. It was to be able to translate for you.
Okay.
I'm
completely lost, but I'm loving it.
to be able to repeat the information. So
No, because we asked in the beginning.
Marine was talking about the involvement of parents that can take lots of different forms and shapes, and parents can give associative hours where they come to school and initiate our students to maybe what they're doing as part of their jobs. We have a parent journalist that came and did research initiation at the primary level last year, so she was talking about that parent involvement.
Well, I actually would love to get involved, because by the time I move to Paris, I would be functionally unemployed. So I have a lot of time on my hands, and I would love to volunteer and just be active in the school. So whatever the school needs.
Lovely. Thank you. I have a question in the chat, Marine, peut-être pour toi. À l'école primaire, combien de temps les enfants passent dehors?
Tout à fait. Alors, il y a plusieurs temps dans la journée. Le premier, c'est le temps de la récréation du matin. Donc, ça, c'est un élément important. Il n'y a pas de cours dans notre école. Voilà, c'est un bâtiment parisien, donc il n'y a pas de cours. Donc, les enfants vont au parc ou au square. Donc, la récréation du matin dure une bonne demi-heure, pendant laquelle donc, les enfants se déplacent. On a des squares qui sont très près, à 5 minutes de l'école. Voilà, donc il y a ce temps-là d'une demi-heure le matin. Et puis, il y a le temps du déjeuner. Donc la première partie se fait à l'intérieur dans les classes. On va dire la première demi-heure, ça dépend du temps que les enfants mettent à manger, hein, entre 30 et 40 minutes. Et puis ensuite, ils partent au parc pour 1h20 jusqu'à 14h. C'est aussi pour ça qu'on a une pause déjeuner de 2 heures, donc qui est beaucoup plus longue que ce qu'il y a en général dans les écoles, mais pour leur permettre d'avoir le temps de profiter de l'espace extérieur, de pouvoir voilà, se défouler et respirer l'air pur de la capitale.
Merci Marine.
Ils vont quand même dans des parcs. L'air est un peu meilleur.
I answered the last question, which was very specific. So I just say it again. If you have specific question regarding your child with a very specific situation, like she would only be able to come in March, these are the kind of question that we can save for the individual meetings, because we are really trying to keep it broad and to have questions about common interest during this meeting.
But what we can say is that in general, we have students that have arrived we have students that have arrived not at the beginning of the school year. It has been possible in the past. Once again, it depends on that specific situation that we will discuss in that individual meeting. We have, for example, students coming from Australia, so the school year is different. So they may arrive in January. However, what we cannot do is save a spot for the student. So it depends of the availability in the class at the moment of registration.
I had another general question, which is about, I have a child that's already in college. And so we recently went through the process here in the United States. And it's, as you probably know, it's a pretty intensive process. I think the idea of no grades is interesting. I certainly understand there's some strong research behind it. But when you're looking at applying outside of France, it seems like they're asking for more. So I'm just wondering, I know you're just kind of in your last, the first year where you have terminals, so the equivalent to seniors here. So in terms of the actual application, typically schools, my understanding in Britain as well, but definitely the US, they're asking for grades, tests, ways to evaluate students. So how are you navigating that?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question, because that tells me that I should add maybe more specific in my presentation, because we do at the IB level, we do give the students predicted grades that will be used for university application, because we try to find that right balance between, as you say, what the research shows, but also not closing the doors for students. And we understand that at the moment, the world is not ready or is not there yet for absolutely no grades. We also believe in preparing the students for the exams that they will take. So if the exams that they are presenting has a scoring system, we don't believe that throwing them into the exam and them having the first time a scored system on the exam works. So for example, the brevet students, they do not get grades on their tests, but when we do the mock brevet, they do get a score on that time, and we are very clear with them and the parents that this is a snapshot of the score that they would have, because it's a mocks, it's a simulation of what would have happened if the exam would have been on that time with those specific subjects, with the student's condition and how they felt at that time. And then we give them a sheet with bullet points on improvements, guidelines for every subject, or how they could enhance their performance. And we do the same in the IB diploma, where we schedule mock exams and we use those to instruct our predicted grades. And we do evaluation. So the students do sit tests, they just don't receive that score. However, especially in the IB diploma, teachers do keep a grade book that is being able to be used for university purposes.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. and it was well needed. So I will add it on my presentation for the next session. So thank you very much for this question.
So I see there are some private exchange of emails that are addressed to everybody. So don't hesitate to take the emails and correspond between Karen and Amy.
I would love to network. I always need friends because we're moving to a foreign country.
We should
We have a
definitely
nice community.
Karen.
You'll make friends among the parents.
I'm not seeing any new question that was not answered unless I'm mistaken. So please feel free to add your question or to repeat your question if somehow it fell through the cracks. Hopefully we're 4 people screening the chat, or feel free to speak on the mic if you still have a question. Otherwise, I think we will close this presentation soon.
I just want to thank you all for the presentation. It was really incredibly helpful. It is a complicated system, but it sounds, I mean, moving is a complicated process and school is complicated. So this has been very helpful for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your feedback.
There was a short question on l'épicerie cantine. L'épicerie cantine, comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, ce sont les parents d'élèves qui ont un accord. C'est un traiteur qui se trouve juste en face de l'école et qui livre des déjeuners. Mais c'est pas nous qui nous en occupons en fait. Donc on vous donnera les coordonnées des parents d'élèves qui s'en occupent. J'imagine, Marine, que c'est comme ça que ça se passe toujours.
Oui, tout à fait. On vous donnera même les contacts directs si besoin de l'épicerie cantine, mais effectivement, c'est géré par les parents et en direct avec l'épicerie cantine.
The question was about food because for the elementary school there is an agreement with a place nearby, but we don't take care of it. It's the parents who organize that. So we'll put you in touch with the parents or with this place directly. Well, thank you all. If there is no more question, it was very nice meeting you, and we hope to meet you in real life at the lab school in the next few months or next year. And don't hesitate to reach out should you have any more questions.
Would you be sending that recording to everybody, or should we be requesting it individually?
What's the plan?
It is scheduled to be posted on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
I believe maybe at the end of the processes, because we may make a little bit of modification and maybe add a little bit about the university aspect application, as Amy told us. But it should be you should be able to find it on our YouTube channel.
Can you send the link?
Marine talked about the date. If you want to register, please note that we are taking the application in order of arrival. So if you're really interested, don't wait the last moment, because as we said, we don't have lots of spots in each level, and once it's full, it's full. So
I want to apply yesterday, but I don't think it's available yesterday.
No, it will start. Marine, can you repeat, please?
December 5th?
On the 16th.
16th?
December. Yeah.
Of December?
Yes.
Okay. Can Sarah send the YouTube link to us?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
I am working on that, and we'll send it to you in just a second.
I have it, Sarah, if you want.
Well, you're faster, go for it.
I know you probably covered this already, but is there a way to pay for the application fee through credit card, or it has to be through bank wire?
Okay, we'll check because our colleague who is in charge of finance is not here tonight, but we'll send you the answer by email.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
I
Because
think
currently it has to be a vermont. Is that what it is right now? Il faut faire un vermont normalement.
As we say, we have a fantastic colleague who's in charge of the financial of the financial matters, and we wouldn't want to say yes or no whether it wouldn't be the correct answer. I believe there are several ways that families can pay for the different fees, for the application fees, and as well as the school fees. However, this is something that we can double check, and that is something that can be asked also on yes, that you can ask at registration if
But we'll also put that in the
yes.
on the website, and I think it's
Thank
a
you.
great remark, and we can improve the information we ourselves know and put on the website so it's clear. So thank you. That's a learning process in action.
So what my understanding, Maureen said that the application opens on December 16th, and I have it on my calendar as December 9th for some reason. So mine is wrong. Yours is definitely the one to go by.
I'm not sure. So I have to check. Yes, it could be on the 9th, but you will find this information on our website. I have to double check it.
I assume it's just the regular stuff, right? Like school transcripts, your demographics, a letter of recommendation. Like it shouldn't be something weird, right? Like it's just the regular stuff, right?
So for pre-registration, it's pretty basic information. For the full administrative registration, there are more documents, but they are listed. They are listed at that point, and there are some documentation that can be a little bit more difficult to obtain, but that we have our staff that is there to accompany you through that process once the pre-registration is completed.
But when you say difficult to obtain, it's not going to be stuff that I don't have, right? For example, the schools ask me for a French lived something, like a family book. We don't have that.
No, there are documents that you will need to apply for. But as I said, as we said, we have lots of families that are coming from abroad and that are used to that process. And it's not so difficult. It depends a little bit of a process as well. If you are requesting for a specific tranche, there are documents that will need to be provided. But all of that will be explained and addressed to every specific situation also in the process after pre-registration.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Amy. We have a specialist of navigating between the French paperwork. Okay, so I think we went through all the questions, hopefully, at least for tonight. So really nice meeting you all. And
well, for us, I don't think it needs to be translated.
Depends. I've had problems in the past. It depends for some public services. You might want to. It's a little bit less expensive if you get it translated in the US, typically, in my experience. We moved to France in 2008, and then we moved back, and now we're moving back. So anyway, it's a just offline discussion if you want some more information.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really lovely to meet all of you, and thank you so much for your questions.
Thank you.